What happened when you sacrificed yourself for someone else? The doctor used words like aggressive and advanced when he told me about my grandson Jamie's cancer. He was 15, and I watched his face crumble when he heard 6 months, maybe less. I held it together until we got to the parking lot, then sobbed until my chest hurt. When Jamie asked me later what the doctor really meant, I told him treatments were tough, but people beat cancer every day. He nodded, but I could see he didn't believe me. They started him on chemotherapy the following week. That night, I found him writing in his phone. He showed me a note titled, "Things I want to do." 4 items: see a live rock concert, drive a race car, learn to make real Italian food, go to the ocean. He said, just in case, you know? And my heart shattered. The chemo was already making him sick. He barely ate dinner and spent most evenings curled up on the couch, too nauseous to do much else. Some days he couldn't even keep water down. Jamie's mom was barely scraping by as a single parent, working double shifts just to keep their apartment. There was no money for dream trips, so I made a decision that night. If my grandson only had months left, I was going to make sure he lived every single one. I picked up a cleaning job at an office building from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m., then weekend catering work that paid cash. When that wasn't enough, I added early morning prep shifts at a bakery. I told Jamie I was helping a friend with projects. My body ached constantly, and I survived on maybe 3 hours of sleep. But every time I looked at him, I remembered that doctor's voice and pushed through another shift. My suffering was nothing compared to what he was going through. The first thing we did when I'd saved up enough was drive Jamie and my daughter to Nashville for a concert. I'd never spent that much money on tickets, but watching Jamie's face light up when the band took the stage made every penny worth it. He was so exhausted from chemo, but he still screamed along to every song, threw his arms around me during the slow ones. Next was the race car experience. I found a place that let people drive real stock cars around a track. Jamie was grinning so hard when he climbed out that he couldn't speak for 5 minutes. We spent a weekend learning to make pasta from scratch with this Italian grandmother who taught cooking classes. Jamie's hands were covered in flour, and he kept saying, "Nonna, look what I made," like he was 5 years old again. It was the first full meal I'd seen him eat since he got sick. Those lessons were worth every penny just for that, but the work was killing me. I started getting dizzy during my bakery shifts, and twice I had to sit down in the middle of cleaning offices because my vision went blurry. I told myself it was just exhaustion, that I could handle it until Jamie's time was up. One morning I collapsed while unloading supplies from my car. Jamie found me on the kitchen floor 20 minutes later, conscious but too weak to stand. He helped me to the couch and stared at me with this expression I'd never seen before, like he was seeing me for the first time. He asked how long I'd been working 3 jobs, and when I tried to lie, he pulled out a piece of paper with my work schedule that had fallen from my purse. "This is for me, isn't it?" he said quietly. "You're doing all this because you think I'm dying." I confessed to everything. He listened without interrupting, and when I finished, he was crying. But then he said something that surprised me. "You know what the ocean item was really about? I wanted to go there with you. I didn't care about seeing the ocean. I wanted to take you somewhere beautiful, because you spent your whole life taking care of everyone else." We both fell apart then, holding each other on that couch like it was the only thing keeping us in one piece. The next day, Jamie's fever spiked to 104 from a chemo-related infection. I rushed him to the emergency room, terrified this was the beginning of the end. That's when everything changed. The ER doctor looked at Jamie's medical records and frowned. He said he wanted to run additional tests, but something didn't look right about how Jamie was responding to treatment. 3 days later, we got a call that changed everything. The original pathology had been mixed up with another patient's. Jamie didn't have cancer at all. He had a rare but completely treatable autoimmune condition that had been mimicking cancer symptoms and getting worse because the chemo was actually making him sicker. The doctor apologized over and over and said it was a catastrophic error and that with the right medication, Jamie would live a completely normal life. I sat in that hospital corridor and laughed and cried at the same time until a nurse asked if I was okay. It's been 8 months now. Jamie is healthy and thriving, planning for trade school next year. We still haven't made it to the ocean, but we're saving up for it together the right way this time. I kept a cleaning job, but just 1 shift a week, and Jamie works part-time at the bakery where I used to do prep work. Sometimes I look at him and think about how close we came to losing each other in different ways. That bucket list is still in his phone, but now it has 15 more items, and at the top of the list, in his handwriting, it says, "Take care of Nonna the way she took care of me."